Shalom, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and double honor to the apostles, elders, and bishops. Great millstone that taught us his word. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect across the planet Earth. So I'm going back and watching a lot of these old Charlie Kirk, debates, and basically this guy, was straight up, racist, which is playing his role. He's an Edomite, that's who he is. But then again, you have a lot of our people, Israelites, that are agreeing with his message and agreeing with him and basically are down for him and actually liked him and grieving for him. So that's in Jeremiah. He asked the question, is Israel become a servant, homeborn slave, man? Because a lot of our people are just, they've been in captivity for so long that they identify with their oppressors, man. Call them coons, sellouts, house ninjas, or whatever. But our people are at this point to where a lot of them hate themselves, and they want to be like the oppressor. They want to be, Esau. They want to be up under him. But eventually, the Most High is going to break that slave mentality from our people, man. There was a time we were in, physical chains. Now we're having to deal with these mental shackles, man. It's at ABC News. It's a generation of black conservatives. Charlie Kirk built more than politics. He built a community. The death of Charlie Kirk has left a generation of young conservatives grieving not only the loss of an influential figure, but also the man they say built a community where they felt belonged. Now, this dude, he pretty much just blamed Jake for every problem in America, whether it be, financial issues or even natural disasters. I remember that flood that took place in Texas not too long ago. It was like a Christian, like this white Christian summer camp got flooded out and killed, a bunch of kids. He literally blamed that on a black guy, a black firefighter who's his jurisdiction was nowhere near that area, but he found a reason to blame Jake for it, So as to why they felt, it says right here, they say they built a community where they felt belonged, black conservatives, which is awkward. Right here it says, Kirk offered this sense of belonging, said the black conservatives. ABC News spoke with it. But then again, our people are so divided. It's, hey, maybe some Jakes did feel more belonging to other nations and gravitated towards other nations. So our people are so destroyed. But that goes back to the curses, so that the man that's tender and delicate among you will have an evil eye for his sons and his neighbors now. So, makes sense that a lot of Jakes would feel a sense of belonging towards other nationalities. Hell, you may even get more respect. But you got guys that are following after straight up racists, man. That's not the way. This is Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave, Look at that word homeborn. Bayan means a home, a house, dwelling, habit, a servant that dwells in the house, a house slave, man. So yeah, people have lost all of our identity, on this side. Why is he spoiled, Look that up in the NLT. We've been completely robbed of our identity and spoiled out here, man. Why has Israel become a slave? Why has he been carried away as plunder? You know, because, the Most High put us in this position, you know, to where we are at the bottom of society and we lost all national identity, man. But that was only temporary. The remnant, they're going to get the name back, the identity back, you know. They're not going to identify with the oppressors, so to speak. This is Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. So that's not the way you're supposed to come back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man, in these last days. Not follow after, conservatives, Republicans, or whatever, or Democrats. Yeah, the word there for envy is qanah. Qanah. It means to envy, to be jealous, to be envious, and be zealous. You got a lot of our people that are zealous for the wrong things, man. Yes, Blexit, short for Black Exit, is a group encouraging Black Americans to leave the Democratic Party and embrace conservative politics. But they're two coins, or the two sides of the same coin. People have been fooled into this whole politics thing. The Democratic Party, they hate Jake too. They just do it in a more covert way, As far as the Republicans, they're more outward with it. But when you flip it back in the day, the KKK was, the party of the Democrats. The Democrats started all that. So it's really a trick bag. None of these political parties are for Jake in any way. Yeah, Super say you're not supposed to set up a king of another nation above you anyway, so you're really not supposed to take part in this voting system any damn way, man. An Israelite, you're not supposed to set up a king of another nation. But going back, yeah, the word envy in that scripture was qanah, means to be jealous, envious, and zealous. Man, so our people are very zealous of the oppressor, man. They want to be like him. They want to be up under him. There's a term for it. It's called Stockholm syndrome. They want to identify the oppressors, man. But all that's going to come to an end. As Ecclesiastes 10:7, I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Yeah, he said he saw servants upon horses, man. He saw the people who are really supposed to be slaves, the base men, sitting in a very high place, sitting in the power seat, so to speak, because horse represents power. Someone's up on a horse, they have power. And princes walking as servants upon the earth, man. So the princes, the real princes of the earth, are in a very low place, it's in servitude. So everything's flipped now, man. But the Lord's going to flip it right back to where it's supposed to be. This is Psalms 82:6. I've said, you're gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Yeah, so we're in a very low place, man, as of right now. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. Yeah, so he was seeing gods walking as servants upon the earth, as servants, as in the power seat. You know, I've seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So, real princes of the earth, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and we're all in a very, very low place, man. And the strangers have gotten themselves up to be very high in the society, but that's that's all temporary. That's coming to an end, you know. The Lord's about to flip it back to where it's supposed to be. As Second Ezra 8 or 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting sunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. As symbolic of a Jacob pulling Esau out of power. Esau was the firstborn, you know, that came out first. And the scriptures say that the elder shall serve the younger, you know. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Ezra asked thou not. Yeah, the point, you know, symbolic of Jake or Israelites are going to pull the elect of Israel, you know, going to pull Esau out of power. You know, oh, it's Revelation 21 and 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. There's no more sea. I saw a new heaven, you know, new rulership, you know, when Yahushua comes back and establishes his kingdom and conquers all the kings and takes their crowns on the planet Earth. That's that new rulership. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Yeah, the old rulership is old government ruled by Esau. Esau's rulership here on the planet Earth, you know, that's going to pass away. There's going to be a new heaven and new earth. It's not talking about the actual heaven and the actual earth. It's talking about the rulership. There's going to be a new rulership on the planet Earth, man. Because we just read, you know, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay. That's Daniel 7 and 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So yeah, man, that's the day that we're waiting on, man. The saints shall take the kingdom. And then all Israel shall be saved. And we won't have any more of these homeborn slaves that envy the oppressor, man. Jacob's going to be in their right mind, you know. He's going to go back to having that rulership mentality. You know, going back to being gods or being gods on the planet, man. As I've said, ye are gods, and all you are the children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So yeah, man, we're dying on the side, man. We lost our nationality. We are. But, you know, these curses only temporary, man. Yeah, but with that, you know, shalom.